Ooh, can I get a can I get a Nikon, Fuji, Sony Z4 7? You got one of those? No? Oh. Alright. So, don't know what camera to buy? Let's talk about it. So, you want to be a photographer? Well, let's talk about cameras and things that you should consider before spending those dollars. Now, to be frank, there's lots and lots of things to consider before you buy your first camera. Canon, Nikon, Fuji, mirrorless, DSLR. But instead of making a top 100 video, allow me to boil it down to the top 5 things I feel you should consider before buying your first camera. With that said, let me start with the first thing and the most important thing you should consider before buying your first camera. What do you want the camera for? Is your goal to be a professional photographer, a videographer, or maybe you just want to be a casual photographer? Either way, whatever you want to do, whatever your goal is, will help you with your purchase decision. Because though the majority of cameras can do both video and take photos at various qualities, it's always best to get a camera whose best feature is geared to your goal. For example, if your goal is to eat protein on your pizza, you don't order a pizza that is half cheese and half pepperoni. No, you get the meat lovers. And that's what we're trying to do. That's a weird analogy, but it makes sense. So, I guess the first question is, do you want to be a photographer? Do you want to be a videographer? Do you want to be that mom or dad at the soccer game with the camera? What do you want? That's the first question you gotta ask. On to number 2. Do you want your first camera to be new or used? This is a very important question because it ties heavily into number 3. Price, 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 price. You have to consider the price. I can't say this enough. One, because cameras are very, very expensive. And with this potentially being your first camera, you want to fully be committed to photography or videography before making that such a big investment. In addition, whether you choose to get a new or used camera will most likely influence the price of that said camera. I personally suggest that you should get a used camera as your first camera. This is because there are numerous benefits I feel one receives by going this route, and I plan to make a video on these benefits in the future. But overall, an inexpensive, high-quality used camera is better than an expensive, low-quality camera at the same price. Because you know how you hear those stories about people that spend a lot of money on hobbies and then the following year they try something new? Yes, we don't want you to be that person. And if that's you, I don't want you to have to, or had to have, spend thousands of dollars on a camera in a process. That's why it's important to consider the price even before you start looking for a camera. And on to number 4. Consider the locations where you plan to purchase. Why is this important to consider before you purchase your first camera? Emphasis on first camera. Because the price of your camera can fluctuate based on the location you choose to purchase, which is why I made a whole video on the best places to buy your first camera, which you can get through a link somewhere around here or through a link that I put below. With that said, let me jump into number 5. Consider your options. What cameras fit the price range that you figured out and are the location you want to buy from? And then taking the steps to further considering the knowledge that already exists about your options, which you can leverage directly by researching 1 or 2 cameras or comparing one camera to another camera. This can be done numerous ways, through YouTube Academy or by talking to people that have those cameras that you are considering to buy. You can even talk to people at the location you're going to buy the camera from. Now, before I finish, I do want to share one of the biggest pitfalls I see people falling into before buying their first camera, and that is the decision between brands. This is a huge pitfall because when deciding between them, every brand will consider themselves the best, and the best depending on who you talk to as well. Trust me, there are beefs that have been started between camera brands and which one is better. Seriously, but not seriously. However, the good thing is whatever brand you start off with is not the brand that you have to finish with. I started off with a Canon but switched to Nikon because my uncle, who is also a photographer in Texas, wanted me to have the same type of camera that he could so I can leverage the knowledge that he had. And that is how I made my informed decision. And then the interesting thing is that he later switched to Sony, and now he tries to get me to switch to Sony. But that's neither here nor there. In addition, I am willing to guarantee you could take it to the bank. You can cash it. There isn't a client or photography subject in the world that cares more about what brand of camera you have than they care about the product that you produce. So we want to produce a high quality product. So do not fall into that pit hole. It is a trap. With that said, thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe to my page and share this video as well. And make sure you get all the updates on the videos that are going to come out. And don't forget to like this video as well. Lastly, if you have any 4 things that you feel that people should consider before buying the first camera, please put it in the comment section below because we want to help each other. And remember, if you're going to become a photographer or become a better photographer, there's no day like the present to start. Peace.